the 6.0, beautiful truck. I got it with 124,000 miles on it, and it's been studded. EGR's been taken out. It's a beautiful truck. 6.0s, they get the brunt end of the stick, but everything that I have found, as long as you do your maintenance, everything is avoidable, and I haven't ran into any issues besides blowing a transmission up. Who doesn't love a 6.0? I mean, the sound of it, you're gonna have the haters that say, so shit, this and that, it's gonna blow up on you, but it's like, well, you're gonna have that, life isn't free, nothing's free, and honestly, if you have fun driving whatever you drive, I mean, that's well worth it, I mean, who wouldn't want to drive around in a truck that sounds like Chewbacca when you're just hauling ass down the highway? That's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's what we like to see. And so right now I'm driving on one of a few highways in Alaska. We don't really have a lot. Usually it's just one road that takes you everywhere. And right now there's no snow. It's 25 degrees outside, and yeah, who would have thought Alaska? You'd think that would be living in igloos and all sorts of, contraptions to stay warm in the winter, but in Wasilla, Alaska, they, I guess not. So here we are, driving a 20-year-old diesel truck in the middle of the winter, and, it gets around just fine. And, yeah, so I'm the reason why, if you're thinking about buying a 6.0, you should just buy it, get it over with. And honestly, if anything goes wrong, you can find parts for these all over the place. Head studs, not that bad. Doing Fickum, dummy plugs, standpipes, STC fittings, all the typical 6.0, failures. It's really not that hard, but again, it goes back to time is money. So what are you gonna, how much is your time worth? See, who wouldn't love to drive around, floor it everywhere, and hear just wah, 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 wah. I mean, some call it immature, but I call it, therapy. Just hearing the wah, 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 that's a beautiful sound. The end goal here is to have a nice running 6.0, and to prove to all the haters you can daily drive a 6.0 with no worries. You can beat the shit out of it, you can absolutely destroy it, and it'll still be running. Now my 7.3, I back a 7.3 any day of the week. I was driving back from our campsite and on the Dalton Highway in Alaska, right? And I was driving back, and all of a sudden it sounded like it was a two-stroke dirt bike. It was like wah bah 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 wah bah. And yeah, it turns out I bent 2 push rods, and when I mean bent, I'll see if I can find a picture. Yeah, they were snapped, clean snapped. One was clean snapped, and one was bent in an S. And you'd think you'd have to be pushing heavy power for that, but apparently not. It drove 30 miles, with 2 bent push rods back to Fairbanks, the nearest town, and I was actually coming back from working, so I hopped on a plane to fly back to Anchorage to drive to Wasilla to spend time with my family. And after a break, I went to the 7.3, popped the valve covers off, saw the push rods dangling off, and yeah, it was not good. But I swapped them out in about 3 hours. But you live and you learn, and I think it means more if you can fix your truck. I think that means everything. The newer trucks, I feel like you're a lot limited. You're really limited on what you can do. Personally, I feel like you're limited on diagnosing. You can diagnose things without a scanner on newer trucks, but it makes it a lot easier. I think a lot of people can agree to have a scanner to look at live data, right? 7.3, it was like, well, if you don't have, with the CTS3, you could, if you don't have Oil pressure, it's probably not starting. Fuel pressure, obviously, you know? And then it comes down to the basics, like, you know, air, and, you know, combustion, but, you know, like, it's I don't know, it's, as long as you're getting 500 PSI of ICP, I think it's around 500, it'll start up, you know? And that's the beauty of it, is just, I feel like with basic knowledge, and if you understand how a motor runs, and especially how the HUI system operates, I feel like someone can grasp the knowledge of knowing how to diagnose their vehicle. And that goes the same thing with the 6.0. You know, it's still a HUI system, and it's pretty cool. I think so. And the end for this video, I would say, buy that 7.3, buy that 6.0 you're wanting to buy. Don't let people spread misinformation into your head about the 6.0. Granted, everything has issues, and you're just gonna have it. Whether you put a hot tune on a 6.0 and beat the crap out of it and say, oh, it blew the head gaskets, whoa, you lifted the head. Well, yeah, you can do that to a lot of vehicles. You can lift the heads off. It's just, you know, 6.0s are cool because you throw a hot tune on them and they feel like a race truck. You know, you feel like you got a race truck, and that's the cool part. So, yeah, so, end take of this, don't let anyone talk shit about 6.0s.